Good evening, this is BelGeode, and we are back with some more prepared version 4.3. I think the last time you saw a prepared video from me, it was version 4.2. So I have updated, and yay, everything looks so much better, and VR is performing a little bit smoother. I am still getting a little bit of frame loss here and there, but I am working on what the issues may be. Maybe it's the scenery that I've got, maybe it's just the complexity of the aircraft that I'm using, but I will figure it out and I will get it smoother. But that is beside the point. Tonight, what I want to show you is a gift that we got on July the 4th, 2018 by one Dino Cattaneo. If the name sounds familiar, Dino is the same guy that created my beloved F-14 Tomcat Delta model that I've been using for the Tomcattery episodes, which, yes, I know, I still need to continue that, and I will do that at some point in time. But for 4th of July, Dino decided to give us a little bit of a surprise. What he did was he created a landing ship, basically for use with his F-35 Bravo model. You know, the Marine Corps version that's capable of VTOL. It's supposed to be replacing the Harrier at some point in time. Well, he felt that it needed a ship. So he created a ship, the LHA-6, the USS America. You may have noticed the title of this video is America. That's what it's all about. So I'm going to be showing you this new ship that he's created for us, and I'm going to be in this guy right here. I'm sure you recognize this one. This is Maryadi's phenomenal MV-22B Osprey. This is still free of charge, so if you have not yet picked it up, by all means go ahead and download it and use it. Please make sure that you update your FSU IPC while you're doing that. If you have no clue what FSU IPC is, then you probably want to look it up, because it is essential for this aircraft to function properly. This is a question that I get a lot on the videos that I've done of this aircraft. FSU IPC, look it up. I will put the link in the video description below. You need it. Okay? Okay. Alright, but we're going to go ahead and get this puppy started here, and I have taken the liberty of placing the America along with the USS Enterprise, CVN-65, and a few other boats out to sea. We are, of course, in Key West. We are at Key West Naval Air Station at Boca Chica Key, just to the east of Key West proper. And I've got these ships cruising on a heading of roughly 300 degrees, about 30 miles to the northwest of where we are located right now. So we're going to head out to the ship, and I'm going to show you the ship, and then we're going to land on the ship. Or, as naval and marine aviators prefer to call it, the boat. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this puppy started up here. It's been a while since I've used this thing, so I may be a little bit rusty. I'm just going to give you that disclaimer from now. But I have been using the one in X-Plane 11. That's the one by AOA Simulations. I'm sure you've seen several videos of that, so I think I kind of remember the procedure a little bit here. Alright, so we got our battery on. We're going to need our APU on, which is something that the X-Plane 11 version does not have, so maybe AOA can get on the ball with that and model the APU. But we've got that up and running there. Let's get our avionics on. That's going to be the middle button right there. And now that our avionics are on, I need to get all of our displays on. So PFD for the co-pilot, MFD for the co-pilot, ICAS in the center, MFD for me, and PFD also for me. Okay, now before I start anything up, I need to make sure that our nacelles are in the right position. You'll see it says 93, so I'm going to pull that back 3 notches. Incidentally, in case you're curious as to how to operate the nacelles on this aircraft, in FSX and Prepar3d, you have the key bindings for aileron trim, left aileron trim and right aileron trim. In this aircraft, you do not use aileron trim to actually trim the aircraft. You use left aileron trim to lower your nacelles, and you use right aileron trim to raise your nacelles. So Keep that in mind. Make sure you have that bound to like your HOTAS or your yoke or whatever it is that you're using. Okay, but we do have our nacelles at 90 degrees, which is exactly where we need to be. So now we can go ahead and get this puppy started up. I'm going to start with the left engine. We'll click the little FSX button over the lever. It's going to say fail, which is fine, but I am going to use my scroll wheel and push the lever down. There we go. So that is currently firing up. Wait to see if we have some activity on our engine gauges here. Okay, I do see some signs of life. Alright, let's get our second engine up and running. So we'll hit the FSX button and push the lever forward. So eventually both FSX should go green. And looks like our little caution warning is removed. And there we go. We got signs of life. Perfect. Alright, engine's looking good. This is great. Okay, now I did say that our little convoy is approximately heading 300. So we're going to go ahead and set that up before we take off here. I need my course knob set to 300. And I'm also going to do the heading knob, because we're going to use the autopilot for a little bit of the journey here. And let's see, I think I'll set our altitude to about 2,000-ish. Yeah, that should be fine. That should be fine. Okay. Now everything looks pretty good. The only thing I have not done is turn on the lights, but honestly, since we're going out to the boat, I don't think we really need it. We do need to check to make sure that our ramp and everything's locked up, so let's do that real quick. There we go. This is of course the new and improved Osprey that Maryadi put out, the version 2.0. So as you can see, everything's 3D modeled and it looks pretty neat. There's even a little hatch in the bottom there that I haven't played around with to see if I can open it up and, you know, maybe do some long line vertical reference or anything like that. Not that I'm any good with anything like that. Alright, but everything else appears to be set. So we're going to go to the outside view, and then we're going to take off vertically. We'll turn ourselves to the proper heading, and we'll head out to the convoy. Okay, there we go. 310, 38, 37. We'll just swing it around to 300. There we go. Right about there should do the trick. Okay, so let's get our gear up and we'll get our nacelles forward. Gear up. And we'll swing the nacelles forward and head on out of here. Our first transition is going to be to 60 degrees. We'll wait for it to do its thing. We'll try to keep the nose up. There we go. And once we get over 100 knots, we can bring it down the rest of the way. There it is. All right, so from 60 to 0, and here we go. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll keep the nose heading high. And we'll bring her up to about 2,000 feet. And then I can talk to you a little bit more about how I was able to place these ships, because it's not the same method that you're probably thinking. Alright, so we're at 1,200 right now. I'm just going to quickly gain some altitude here. Get our autopilot on. Vertical speed on. set that to 2,000, and our heading hold is at 300. So there we go. Okay, let's take a quick look at Key West on our way out, even though the FPS is dipping just a little bit. And then I'll talk to you some more about what we're doing. Okay, so as promised, I told you that I was going to explain to you how I was able to put these boats out there. If you're a longtime user of FSX or even P3D for that matter, you're probably familiar with AICarriers. Well, I did not use AICarriers to put these boats out there. What I did instead, if you are familiar with SimWorks Studios, the makers of the F4 Phantom, and of course the ships that it comes with, the Coral Sea and the Midway I believe is extra. One of the things that they've started doing, which I think is quite probably one of the coolest things that's happened to FSX and Prepared for a long time, they've decided to make the carrier ops element a separate entity. So they have this thing called Carrier Extensions. If you have the SWS Phantom, more than likely you already have Carrier Extensions in there. Now, they're going to be doing some really great things with it. They've already tweaked the physics and the realism of the actual carrier ops. So when you trap on the carriers with you know, the various aircraft, whether it be Dino's free F-14 or, you know, something from Razbam or something from Aerosoft or whatnot, it will actually behave more closely to something from, say, DCS World, which I think is phenomenal. But the other really cool thing about the Carrier Extensions module is it also incorporates two things. It incorporates everything that AICarriers used to do, and it also incorporates this thing called VLSO, which is also free. You can download it and add it in there. VLSO is essential if you want to do any kind of carrier ops in P3D or in FSX. It will actually, as the name might state, give you a virtual landing signal officer, or LSO. So it'll help you with your traps. You know, it'll call the ball, it'll give you the directions on how to get in properly, and so on and so forth. It is really awesome. But the AICarriers portion of Carrier Extensions is what I use today to put these ships out to sea in the proper formation for us. And it is really cool how it works, because it does a lot more than the original AICarriers program does. Is it worth it? Absolutely. And I do hear on good authority that since it is going to be a separate entity, it will be modular, which means folks like Dino and his new LHA-6 that we're about to see, and folks like the Enterprise people, Team SDB I believe they're called, as well as Javier Fernandez, you know, his Nimitz, everybody knows the Nimitz, all of those will be able to be used with Carrier Extensions without anything else really necessary. It will just work out of the box. And the way that SimWorks Studios already has this thing set up, it already works with Dino's Tomcat, Dino's T-45, the Viking, as well as a whole host of other carrier planes that you could think of that you would use in FSX or P3D. It is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Alright, but speaking of boats, we should be getting kind of close to them. As a matter of fact, I think I do have visual right there. We're going to need to swing out a little bit to the right here. So let me, since we're on autopilot, swing us out to about 310. Here we go. And we can probably go to the outside view as we get a little bit closer to these ships here. and check them out. Okay, I definitely have visual on our ships, so we can see from left to right there is a frigate directly ahead, and then just to the right of the frigate is the USS America that we've come to see. To the right of the USS America is CVN-65, the USS Enterprise, and then to the right of the Enterprise we've got the USS New York, which I've showed you before on the previous P3D episode that I did. We've got a cruiser in the back, we've got another frigate on the other side, and we've got a destroyer at the front of the pack. So yeah, pretty awesome setup. Okay, so since we are kind of close, what I'll do is I'll do a little bit of a flyby around the convoy here, and then we'll see if we can come in for an approach and landing on the America. Let me just caution you, however, I am still rusty with this aircraft, so don't expect it to be up to NATOPS. Alright, let's get our autopilot off, and we'll head down to the deck and check things out. And we'll do it from the outside. Okay, so we just passed the boat, and we're going to swing around the front of our little convoy here, and we'll take another pass before we come in to land. We'll try to keep it at around 800. We'll pretend this is a case 1 approach. We'll try to keep everything in check here. I will remind you, since this is the Osprey, before we can think about moving our nacelles, we're going to need to make sure that we are below the proper speed limits. If you are not familiar with those speed limits, consult your manual. RTFM. You gotta read the manual. Alright, but there's the Enterprise, and you can see those beautiful Tomcats on deck. Oh yeah, we'll be seeing those again sometime in the near future. Guarantee you that. And we're gonna swing around to the America, and what I will do is pass the ship so that it is to my right side. Try to slow down while we're at it here. We're at 200. We're going to need to be below about 150 or 140 knots before we can start moving the nacelles. But we'll do our carrier brake, which of course will not be accurate. And then we'll come in and try to land on it. Alright, so here we go. Get your cameras ready, folks, because we are coming in nice and slow. Alright, here we go. Let's take a quick look and see Dino's handiwork. Wow, that is beautiful. That is really beautiful. Okay, now one thing that I should tell you about this boat that we've got here. The way that Dino set it up, you have 3 versions of this ship. You have the VTOL version that you're looking at over there. You've got the empty deck version, and you've got the F-35 Bravo version. So depending on what aircraft you happen to be using at the time, you can set up your ship accordingly. Now remember, since I'm using carrier extensions, you can set it up as part of a formation. So you could just specify multiple formations. Maybe one day you want to run the F-35 formation. Maybe another day you want to run the VTOL formation. You can do all of that by setting up different formations similar to how you would in AICarriers, and then just simply select them and drop them in the water. Alright, let's slow down here. We're going to do our actual carrier break. I'm pretty sure this is probably not how they do it in the Marine Corps, but since I'm just so used to doing it Navy style, we're going to do it this way. Alright, so we're at 174. Keep bringing it down here. Now we're going to make a left-hand turn. Try to keep it no higher than about 600-ish. She is still a little bit wobbly, so we'll kick in some left rudder. We don't really want to go too much further than that frigate out there. So there we go. We're at 139. I can drop the gear. Okay, so there's our frigate. And we'll make a quick look outside as we come back around the beam. Okay, so we are at 44 degrees nacelle. We're going to bring it up to about 60. There it is. And we'll swing her around. We actually got up a little bit too high because we were going fast. That's okay. We should be able to drop back down. Swing her around. And now comes the fun part. We'll see if I actually remember how to land on this thing. I do know that we pull up to the port side of the boat and get into position and then slide to the right. Let's see if I can actually do that this time around. Hands down, this is definitely the best representation of the MV-22 Osprey that exists for prepared or FSX. So, like I said, if you haven't yet gotten it, go ahead and get it. It is free. Same goes for this ship that we're about to land on. Dino, like I said, has given this to us for free. Here's a caveat. It is in beta at the time of this recording. So if there are any bugs that you encounter or things that you think do not appear to be realistic, please let Dino know on his blog, which is the link below where you will actually be downloading this thing from. Let him know so that way he can make this the absolute best that it can possibly be. Alright, so just to keep you abreast of what I'm doing, I have our nacelle set to 75 degrees. And we're bubbling up and down here because I'm playing around with the throttle. But we're pulling up to the port side of the boat. And right about where the elevator is where we're going to bring it down. There are some markings there that we're supposed to use to actually put our gear down on, but the markings are currently not accurate. That is something that Dino is going to be fixing. So I'm just going to do this the old-fashioned way, which pretty much involves me eyeballing it and then trying to see if I can bring her down. So here we go. Slide to the right here. And again, gentle movements. And we'll start bringing her down. We'll take a look at where the tram line is. There we go, right there. I can see it at the bottom. Slide a little bit more to the right. A little bit more to the right. And a little bit more to the right. And there we go. We are down. Okay. So welcome to the USS America by Dino Cattaneo. Woohoo! All the people come with it. Everything you see comes with it. And like I said, this is one of 3 versions that he has available. This is the VTOL version. There's also a version that's got his F-35 Bravos, which you can definitely use this off of. And then, of course, there's a clean deck version, but I have not verified whether or not the clean deck also means that it does not have any crew on there. I don't know as of yet, but I will find out, although you could probably find out quicker than I could. Okay, so parking brakes are on. Let's get our nacelles back up to the 90 degrees. And that is what I wanted to show you today. So we'll take a quick look outside, and then we'll call this video done. So there you have it, folks. This is the free LHA-6, the USS America by Dino Cattaneo. It is currently available. It is in beta, so please be sure to give him feedback on this thing if you do decide to get it. And it is free of charge, so go ahead and pick it up. And our chariot for the day has been Maryadi from Indonesia's lovely MV-22 Osprey. That is also free, so make sure you pick that up, and also make sure you update your FSU IPC. The links to everything is going to be in the video description below. And that, folks, will do it for me today. So thank you, as always, for watching. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in Prepared version 4.3. You can expect some more Prepared goodness at some point in time in the near future. Most notably, we still have to do the Tom Cattery series, so that's going to be coming at some point in time. And we're also going to need to go back to Vietnam at some point. I don't know when that'll all happen, but I promise you it will at some point in time. Alrighty, folks, thanks as always for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I will be back with some more goodness at some point in time in the near future. Alrighty, folks. Ciao.